Today we are at Berlucchi with Paolo Ziliani. Paolo is the vice president of the company and is responsible for the international operations of the company. Paolo, Berlucchi invented in 1961 the territory of Franciacorta. So which were at the beginning the most important challenges? Why the entrepreneurs decided to open up this new enterprise?
Well, first of all, I'm happy that in 1961 I wasn't born yet, so was something good for me. But as what I hear from my father, he's still alive and well, and he likes to tell us all the issues and all the problems that he has to go through before the creation of Franciacorta. But what really happened was that they had a dream. Franco Ziliani, my father, and Guido Berlucchi, they both have a dream. The dream was to produce something, not the same wine of champagne, because they were in love with champagne, but their dream was to produce something as good as champagne, but different, with a different characteristic, with different qualities, Italian style, something very good, but something Italian style. And they went through many problems because they didn't have no experience at all. So they had to travel many times to Champagne, trying to understand and learn how to produce in the best way. And in the meantime, they were starting to speak to other people in order to present their idea. That was not easy at all, I think. But as I said before, the passion and this dream, that was the secret of their success. From that first bottle in 1961, now Franciacorta is a territory of more than 3,000 hectares of vineyards, and with a total production of around 15 million bottles and with more than 100 wineries. So I have to admit I'm very proud of what my father and Guido Berlucchi did in the past.
The success of Berlucchi was and still is a market success. So at the beginning, as you said, the founders started learning how to make the wine. But then which was the strategy in terms of marketing? So the go-to-market, which was the real approach, the different approach?
I think that first they communicate and they contacted people that was in love with champagne, because the idea was to tell to Italian consumer, try this product that is very good and is made in Italy. So, and it didn't exist at that time. It did not exist because the real tradition of sparkling wine in Italy was born in Piedmont with the sweet Moscato grape Asti Spumante. Very good, but completely different kind of product. So I think that the real innovation of Franciacorta and the real idea that my father and Guido Berlucchi had was to produce a dry sparkling wine in Italy, because at that time it did not exist. Then not only dry, but also with a method that permit to obtain a high quality standards. So the strategy was to suggest to try it instead of drinking champagne. And in those years, I think that it became, we say, radical chic to order a bottle of Berlucchi. Instead of ordering whatever everybody was ordering, to be different from the others, you had finally something new to try.
I think also one of the important things of the strategy was to make the product very democratic, no? Was to sell it through the...
That was afterwards, I think.
Afterwards.
Yeah, before it was not so democratic, it was different. And we all know how Italians like to be different from the others, okay? Then, little by little, it became democratic, and it became the wine that anybody for party, for festivity, if you have a birthday, if you have any event in your family or with your friends, anybody in Italy have opened in the past and also in the present a bottle of Berlucchi. So Berlucchi, little by little, but it was not the same. I don't think it was at the beginning. Was not that. It became little by little the wine, the official wine for parties in Italy.
And there was the
but there was like a route. It was a path.
And so, from 1961 to today, basically Berlucchi and Franciacorta created a tradition, because it created the tradition of drinking high-quality Italian sparkling wine.
Exactly. Then also we are working not only to maintain this tradition, but also to try to find more ways to drink our products. And we believe, for example, that these wines are very good with food. And let me tell you, if you get used to have a meal with Franciacorta, and of course better with Berlucchi, but also with the others, if you get used to it, then you really realize that it's not easy to go back to regular wines, because these kind of wines have characteristic of you can pair this wine with so many different food, because they are white wines, but in the meantime they have body and structure that is similar more to a red wine. So you can pair this with so many different foods, with so many different styles. And you know how in Italy the food is so different when you go from one place to the other. And probably this is another thing why we are so strong in the market, because it's one of the few wines that you can drink anywhere around Italy, from Sicily up to the Alps.
And this is a more general question. When you compete in a market, having created a tradition, is it an impediment, a constraint to innovation, or it helps to innovate?
The challenge is to keep the traditions, but in the meantime try to innovate without losing the tradition. So, for example, I give you examples in the production field. Little by little, we understood that from one single plant, the number of bunches of grape on one plant, they have to be a low number of bunches, because the roots have to feed just 4 or 5 bunches if you really want to have taste, characteristics, and quality. But so that means that you don't change the tradition, but you understand things year after year, production after production, vintage after vintage. Same thing for the pressing. You understand little by little that the gentler your pressing is of the grapes, and the more you can get really the best of the juice that you want to have. And then, of course, you have to keep in the tradition, but I think that we have to worry about preserving our territory, preserving our land. So, of course, we are trying to be greener and greener, more and more, trying to preserve what the nature gives us, and we don't want to change this. So, I think it's important to always remember your traditions, but in the meantime, try to be innovative in the production field and also in the marketing field, because of course consumer, they change and they change their ideas, so you have to be in line with the new trends.
Good. As you said, basically Berlucchi is one of the undisputed leaders in the sparkling wine market in Italy, and Franciacorta is
is the leader. I'm sorry.
Okay, he's the leader in the sparkling wine market in Italy, and Franciacorta is recognized as the best territory for the sparkling wine market in Italy. But now the big challenge for Franciacorta and Berlucchi is international markets. no, where the competition
Yes.
is much fierce, where the competitors are very different.
Yes.
So which is the strategy of the territory, and Berlucchi in particular, to try to approach a global market where territories and companies compete in a very global and broader arena?
First of all, we have to always remember the way we produce our products. The rules in producing Franciacorta are the most stricter rules in the world to produce a sparkling wine. So from 1 hectare of vineyards, we can obtain maximum 90 quintals of grapes. From 1 quintal of grapes, we can obtain maximum 55% of the juice to make Franciacorta. So there are so many rules that give us the opportunity to have a standard quality within 100 producer, to have a standard high quality. Because this is the goal of Franciacorta. Quality, quality, quality. This is the only way to have a chance in the world trying to compete with champagne, because that's the competitor. Of course, there are many different sparkling wines from Argentina, from Brazil, from Australia, from UK, from Prosecco. So in many nations, in many markets, the consumption of sparkling wine is growing, and there are many different productions. We think that the chance for Franciacorta is to be in a very, very high quality standard. So we have those rules that have to be very strict, and of course also a consequence of that, the price will be high, because the cost of production are high. But I think that we have some chances, because we have our own character. The wines have their own characters. They cannot be confused to any other wines. And this is the chance. Of course, we will need many years, we will need many tastings, we will need many planes to fly on, we will need many miles to fly, and I'm doing that, but it's fun. It's fun, it's challenging, and I think we have some chances.
And when you talk about Berlucchi within the territory, because this is a strategy of the whole Franciacorta territory,
Yes.
but then you compete with all the other competitors within the territory. So which are the potential differentiation strategies that the leading company in the territory can pursue?
But I think that, to be honest, yes, of course, everybody inside the territory have to have their own differentiations. Well, we are the inventor of Franciacorta. I think that maybe that's why I'm not so worried about what is different between us and the rest. But there's so much more space for us to grow. We are only producing 15 million bottles. That's a very low number. So I think that we have to have a goal to, I think, at least double the production and the sales of the bottles of Franciacorta in the world within a certain period. That can be 10 years, 20 years maximum, but that has to be the goal. So I don't think there is a big problem in emphasizing what is the difference between Berlucchi and our colleague in the territory. Of course, Berlucchi is the one who invented Franciacorta, so we always be the inventor of Franciacorta, and we will always be the one who pushed the most, the one who spent the most money, the one who will believe more than the others. That's for sure.
Okay, thank you so
Cheers.
much, Paolo. Cheers.